name is Laura Nelson, and I have the honor of serving as the board chair for the Scholarships for Scholars program. On behalf of our organization, welcome to the 41st Annual Awards Ceremony, where we proudly recognize the outstanding achievements of the class of 2025 scholarship recipients. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce and warmly welcome this year's honorees. Stay standing. Okay, so it is now, I was waiting for the music. Okay, it is now my pleasure to introduce Grant Lonergan of Severance School, our George and Ruth Tormey Honorary Scholarship recipient, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Welcome, Grant.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Grant. So as we begin today, we need to recognize all those who made this possible. First, a heartfelt thank you to Elizabeth Smith Anderson, whose late husband, Dr. Edward J. Anderson, superintendent of Anne Arundel County Public Schools from 1968 to 1984, had the vision to create Scholarships for Scholars. To our dedicated Board of Trustees, thank you for your commitment and leadership. A sincere thank you to our scholarship sponsors, Anne Arundel Retired School Personnel Association, Books for International Goodwill, Bose Effort, Crosby Marketing, RBC Baum Jackson Investment Group, the Shane A. Morris II family, and Zach Schwartz family. And then, of course, to all the parents, guardians, siblings, grandparents, and other family members, thank you for your unwavering support of these outstanding students. And then to the teachers, thank you for your dedication, wisdom, and great letters of recommendation. And to the school counselors, thank you for guiding the students with resources and encouragement. To the principals, other administrators, and Board of Education members, thank you for your leadership and commitment to educational excellence. And finally, a special thank you to our keynote speaker, President Nora Demleitner of St. John's College, and to Nicholas Bruce, Bruce Douglas, and Stephen Mason, also of St. John's College, for their invaluable support in making this event possible. Round of applause for everyone. So it is now my honor to welcome our keynote speaker to the ceremony, President Nora Demleitner of St. John's College. Since January 2022, Nora V. Demleitner has served as the 25th president of St. John's College in Annapolis and is the first woman to lead the college in its 328-year history. St. John's College is a distinctive liberal arts college known for its discussion-based approach to great books and encompassing everything from the sciences, mathematics, to music, the humanities, and social sciences. President Demleitner came to St. John's from Washington Lee University, where she served as the Dean of the Law School and held the Roy L. Steinheimer Jr. Professorship of Law. A graduate of Bates College, Yale Law School, and Georgetown University Law Center, she also served as Law Dean at Hofstra University, Maurice A. Dean School of Law. President Demleitner also sits on the Executive Committee of the Maryland Independent Colleges and Universities Association and serves on the Committee of Accountability for the National Association of Independent Colleges and Universities. She is an elected member of the American Law Institute, the International Academy of Comparative Law, and the Criminal Justice Council, and is a fellow of the European Law Institute. In 2024, she was named one of Maryland's top 100 women. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to President Nora Demleitner.
Good evening, everyone. It's truly an honor and a special pleasure to welcome you today to our campus, America's third oldest. I want to thank Laura Nelson, Pam Vandiver, and the entire Scholarship for Scholars team for putting on tonight's event and for inviting me to speak. Last year, my assistant and I were in the audience at Maryland Hall for this event, and the scholarship recipients were so impressive. At some point, my assistant leaned over to me and said, "These, quote unquote, are Johnnies." It's what we call St. John's students. And what he meant was every recipient was incredibly impressive, and we truly enjoyed learning about each and every one of them. And I know that tonight I will be equally impressed as we hear about each and every one of you. So I am deeply grateful to Scholarships for Scholars, an organization that has awarded scholarships since the late 1980s to help very impressive students attend college. Perhaps there has been no time since then when that support has been more critical. It recognizes the importance of higher education to individual development and to society. It helps students to attend the institution of their choice. And we also know that students who attend college do better financially over their lifetime. But that is only part of the story. Most importantly, they lead happier, healthier, and more fulfilled lives. And that could nothing be more important. So I am deeply grateful that we have Scholarships for Scholars in our community. And I must commend the vision of its founder to support the students of Anne Arundel County and the commitment of its board to that vision. I want to make a special mention of one of the board members, Chris Nelson, who gave this keynote address last year. He's a longtime tutor and president emeritus of St. John's College. Chris, I want to thank you for this introduction to Scholarships for Scholars. Now, let me turn to the stars of the night, you. Tonight, after all, is all about recognizing and congratulating you on your hard work. It's about the work that allowed you to garner these prized awards. But I also want to say it's about the work to apply for these highly competitive prizes. I mentioned earlier that I am truly excited to hear more about your accomplishments, and I meant that. And I will try not to change your decision about where to attend college. After all, I would try to. But I am sure that many of my teams in the audience will think what we all thought last year, that you truly are, Johnnies at heart, the best of the best, committed to scholarship, self-knowledge, and knowledge of the world. In looking at the different scholarships that are being offered, the awards that are being offered, I am truly humbled by the diversity of talent in this room. Some of you got an award for something you loved and made your own during high school, and you plan to continue during college. Perhaps you've already decided that because you're a writer, you aren't a math person, or because you're a computer science whiz, you would never write poetry. Do not limit yourself. Now, let me tell you a story about St. John's College. Now, for some of you, it may be the first time that you're on this campus or in this building, And some of you may have spent time here before on this historic campus with its richness of history. Our Great Books curriculum, as you heard, is iconic. We read and discuss, and that's important, 200 plus books in 4 years. But there are some features that are less well known about the college, but they could be generally instructive about your college journey. At St. John's, we require largely a prescribed curriculum. That means we require that everyone has 4 years of math, 4 years of science, as well as 4 years of language, literature, political theory, philosophy, and theology. Some of you may think of us as a humanities college, which we proudly are, but we're also truly a college dedicated to the liberal arts and sciences. And that part, and sciences, is often left out. But the liberal arts and sciences are deeply interconnected and interrelated. What we say to our students with our curriculum is, don't put yourself in a box. Don't limit yourself. And let me give you an example of how this works in reality. One of my personal favorite alumni stories is about the now academic vice dean at the University of Michigan's medical school. So this person is now responsible for the teaching and learning of all future physicians who attend the University of Michigan. Now, he came to St. John's because he wanted to be a philosopher. Now, he claimed to have almost failed science and math in high school, and clearly he had decided that he wasn't cut out for science, and apparently his high school teachers had totally concurred with him. Now, here we suddenly demanded that he take math and science, which he had failed to read about when he applied here, and we demanded that for 4 years. Now, by his sophomore year, to his utter surprise, his classmates asked him for help with assignments. Went on to medical school, got a research PhD on top of that, an MD PhD, and the rest is history. Now, we would not now have one of the premier research physicians in consciousness and anesthesia in the country had he not been forced to explore science and math here at St. John's. So what I say to you is, don't deny yourself your hidden talents. Perhaps more importantly, don't deny the world your hidden talents. Use college to do things you think you cannot do. Indeed, try to do things you think you know you cannot do. Allow yourself to be surprised by yourself. Some would call this a first piece of advice. You get many of those. So let me call mine my first request to you, my plea, my hope for you and for all of us. And now let me add a second one. And here, I need your parents and your family's support and indulgence. And as a parent myself, I know how anxious we get about our children's opportunities and their ability to support themselves after college. I see it in every parent's, including my own and my husband's faces all the time. So, lately, we hear so much about college as a way to employment and a higher income. That is absolutely true. Though, for some, it takes a little longer and maybe a little bit more circuitous, especially in some disciplines than in others. So increasingly what we hear about is practical education, practical majors that lead to direct outcomes. What that means is career paths, jobs. So practical education or major leads to outcomes quickly, presumably, of course, to higher income, and therefore an education or majors that are labeled impractical don't lead to outcomes. Now, what is really curious about this assessment is some of our highest ranking military officers, CEOs, researchers, diplomats, and I would guess some of your best and most favorite teachers have been educated in fields that we now suddenly consider impracticable and not that valuable. Higher education isn't just about employability, and it certainly isn't just about immediate employability. It is the start of lifelong learning, and it's a goal we really reinforce here at St. John's, and I want you to embrace throughout your life. And what that should mean while you're in college is that you do take philosophy and literature, art and music, linguistics, gender studies, whatever you find interesting. You should live the liberal arts and sciences. Give yourself the opportunity to be a fully educated, a well-rounded person. Don't specialize too early in life. There is a long career to do that. Now, you don't have to trust my thinking here or my words, as I can rely on one of America's leading civil rights activists and one of the greatest public intellectuals of the 20th century, W.E.B. Du Bois. We here at the college read one of his books, The Souls of Black Folk. Therefore, we consider it a great book. And a little more than 70 years ago, he actually spoke here on the St. John's College campus. Now, in The Souls of Black Folk, Du Bois wrote, "The function of the university is not simply to teach breadwinning or to furnish teachers for the public schools or to be a center of polite society. It is above all to be the organ of that fine adjustment between real life and the growing knowledge of life, an adjustment which forms the secret of civilization." I hope that is exactly what your future education gives you, and that it inspires you to find a thirst for lifelong learning. Do not focus yourself too early or too narrowly on the next step after college. Enjoy the journey and see it, as Du Bois did, as a growth opportunity, allowing you to test yourself, to become more fully rounded, to experience thoughts and people different from you. Embrace the experience with open arms and lean into it. Learn from each other and listen to yourself. It's the first step into adulthood, and it's the one that I hope you take on in the spirit of learning more about yourself and the world. And that spirit you should take with you wherever you go, as you will enrich your families and communities, this nation and the world in the decades to come. Congratulations to all of you, and thank you.
Thank you very much for those inspiring words, and I concur. You need to take your time away at college as an opportunity to explore those things you never thought you would explore, and open your mind to learning new things. So thank you for that. Okay, so we are at the point where we're going to start awarding the scholarships, and so I'd like to introduce our two readers for this evening. First, we have Greg Jones, who will be reading for us, and then on the other side, we have Phil Greenfield. And today, we're going to start with Mr. Greenfield.
We will begin with our educational category awards. These include 17 scholarships across 13 curriculum areas, each recognizing academic excellence, passion, and future potential. The first award winner I'd like to introduce to you is Carla Diaz-Barrera of Glen Burnie High School. Carla embodies the success a career and applied technology program can inspire. She has excelled in a varied academic program that has included working with customers at Chick-fil-A and on electrical projects like the design for a series of fire alarm circuits that she submitted to us. Carla tells us that before attending Cat North, the electrical field would not have seemed a likely career destination. But the applied approach to subject matter, especially mathematics, piqued her interest and encouraged her to set a new and challenging course. Applied technology, she explains, works a lot with hands-on, which gives me a better understanding of what's being taught. We hear from Lucy Keener of Glen Burnie's Guidance Department, that Carla is a member of National Honor Societies for Mathematics, Science, and Technology. She holds leadership positions in almost all of them, Ms. Keener continues. She cares deeply about the impact she has on her community. Not surprisingly then, service to others plays an important role in Carla's life. She is a wingman for an organization called Athletes Serving Athletes that motivates people with limited mobility to participate in running events. She also is a member of Glen Burnie's Red Cross Club, a summer volunteer at her local library, and an avid fundraiser for SPAN, the Severna Park-based organization that serves people across neighborhoods. We are also struck by the appreciation and respect Carla has for her parents, whose hard work and self-sacrifice have fueled her independence and her own drive for success. I can say that I have been my own adult before even turning into one, Carla writes. The older I get, the more I realize my early maturity has developed my understanding of other people's lives. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate Carla Diaz-Barrera, the winner for Career in Applied Technology. Next, I'd like to introduce Caroline Hopper, who is the winner for our award in computer science. Caroline of Southern High School has a deep and powerful understanding of problem-solving techniques that will serve her particularly well in the field of computer science. Moreover, she's as eloquent in written form as she is numerically, conveying ideas of value about the current state of technology and the need for creative thinking to use it to its best advantage. We caught a glimpse of Caroline's affection and respect for her craft in the personal website she submitted to us designed to keep track of books she has read or wants to read. She also shared a video demonstrating the website operating as intended. While most applicants submit a small sample program written in the language of their school's choice, the breadth of Caroline's knowledge of computer languages and software engineering went far beyond what we usually see. Creativity, Caroline argues, is as important to her craft as logic, for while logical thinking is required to design efficient programs, it's creative thinking that identifies different paths to the same solutions. These pathways, she says, are important for purposes of verification and the understanding of future connections. Creativity, she concludes, is also necessary for issues resulting from a growing dependence on technology itself. Creative human minds are needed to find solutions to the ethical concerns that arise from these developments. When not working the formulas of discrete mathematics and running meetings of Southern's Girls Who Code Club, Caroline is her school's #1 singles player in tennis, the founder and director of its chamber strings ensemble, and a talented seamstress whose prom dress began its life at Joann's Fabric and Crafts. Lisa Hostetter of the Southern faculty tells us that after 23 years of teaching, Caroline is the most humble, highest achieving, and intrinsically motivated student I have taught, and we know she's not exaggerating, ladies and gentlemen. Caroline will be attending the University of Mary Washington in Fredericksburg, Virginia, majoring in computer science in the fall. Let us congratulate her together. Caroline Hopper of Southern High School. May I next present Amberlyn Gong of Severna Park High School, the winner of our award for creative writing. Amberlyn writes fiction that is original, sophisticated in its creation of shifting points of view, and full of stylistic flair. In Heart of Me, Amberlyn tells a dystopian tale that alternates between a first-person narrative and a third-party description, both of which collide into a tragic ending. Lighter in mood, but no less profound, is her Lane of Thought, where she explores the movements, patterns, and relationships of swimmers swimming between the demarcated lines that separate them from each other. We eagerly await the dramatization of Amberlyn's plot into a movie or TV series. I enjoy art and music, our winner tells us, but fell in love with writing. Through careful analysis of books I read, I've learned to create compelling narratives to put my daydreams into print. She found out early, though, that the writer's craft can be a solitary and frustrating pursuit. Writer's block forced me to set my work aside for weeks, she recalls, and there were moments I wanted to quit altogether. But after a year, all 300 pages were complete. It was messy, imperfect, and full of crossed-out paragraphs, but it was a story of my own. Amberlynn's life story continues to be written in other areas. She is the team captain of the Naval Aquatics Club and the founder and president of her school's economics club. Amberlynn is also a tutor at the Annapolis Piano Studio, an interning data analyst at the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab, and the winner of numerous scholarly and literary awards. She's brilliant beyond words, says Chelsea Singer of Severna Park High's guidance department. The minute we first spoke with me during her freshman year, it was undeniable that she had a big future ahead of her. That future will spin out for the next several years in Cambridge, Massachusetts, where Amberlynn will attend Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Ladies and gentlemen, let's congratulate Amber Gong of Severna Park High School. Next, I would like you to meet Timothy Wright of the Severn School. Timothy is the winner of our scholarship for engineering. In fact, he has been described as the heart and face of engineering at Severn. He is, says his teacher Garrett Anderson, the program's biggest cheerleader, always encouraging younger students, especially freshmen, as they enter principles of engineering. His enthusiasm is infectious and his leadership extends far beyond the classroom. Severn counselor David Brunk recalls Timothy co-teaching a world history class in which he explained the virtues of ancient Roman concrete by having his younger students build classical arches out of tiny blocks. That passion was on display in the project Tim shared with us, an endeavor that won him support from Severn's Van Aney Scholarship. That enterprise was the design and construction of a brand new boat. His computer-assisted designs were shared with us, along with photos of the building process currently underway in the family garage. The sophistication and thoroughness of Tim's work is stunning in all respects. The number of hours that went into the project is extraordinary, given that he is a full-time student, a distance runner who competes on Severn's track and cross-country teams, and a member of the school's jam band. His project is more ambitious than almost any I have seen in my 11 years here, says Mr. Brunk, and it has already consumed hundreds of his waking hours. Tim will receive neither a grade nor credit for this work. It is truly a passion project. Our winner reflects on the vessel that began with a Fusion 360 drawing and is now a tri-hull catamaran awaiting final assembly. Though it is only partially done, Tim writes, I can envision the boat's curved nose boldly lunging forward, the stern narrowing to a point. As essayist Cynthia Osick told us, the engineering is secondary to the vision. Tim will be majoring in mechanical engineering next year at Dartmouth College. Ladies and gentlemen, let's congratulate Timothy Wright of Severn School.
Our next recipient is also in the field of engineering, Ava Zimmerman of Severna Park High School. Ava has become an expert on the dragonfly, not as an entomologist, but as an engineer. Last year, Ava was accepted as an intern at the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab, where she has been assigned work on Dragonfly, a rotocraft lander that will fly to Titan, one of Saturn's moons, and collect samples of the material composition of its atmosphere and surface. An effective insulator is required to protect Dragonfly from Titan's cryogenic surroundings, which run to minus 300 degrees Fahrenheit, and Ava is on the assessment team working out the technical details. Out of the many interns we had over the summer, Ava stood out, showing her desire to learn more and take full advantage of opportunities here at APL, writes Space Section Engineer Ravi Singh. Whenever I mentioned I was doing testing, she wanted to see, put her eyes on it, and ask questions. While encapsulating solamide foam and testing the strength of the bolts holding Dragonfly together has provided Ava with a great adventure in engineering science, other aspects of the experience have been important too. So significant, in fact, she thinks she might like to remain at APL in the future. As the captain of Severna Park's varsity field hockey and indoor track teams, who also runs outdoor track in the spring, Ava is no stranger to head-to-head competition. I am accustomed to working on a sports team towards the goal of winning, she writes, and there's always an element of competition that occurs within the team for playing time, for coaches' favors, etc. This was the first time I was in a really collaborative and non-competitive environment where everyone was completely working together towards our common goal, towards one common goal for humanity, that is. Please congratulate Ava Zimmerman, who will be attending Johns Hopkins University in mechanical engineering. And our next recipient, unfortunately, could not be with us. The English Literary and Rhetorical Analysis Scholarship is awarded to Emily Daig, who is not here tonight, but we want to congratulate Emily. Our next recipient, please welcome Shiloh Olatunji of Chesapeake Science Point Public Charter School. Shiloh checked off every box we could think of in our health and physical education category. Shiloh is an accomplished student of the health sciences, having already earned licensure as a basic life support provider. Working with dummies, stethoscopes, oxygen masks, and tanks transformed items that once seemed intimidating into tools I felt confident in using, Shiloh tells us. I knew I would enjoy the class, but the knowledge I gained and the excitement of learning about the emergency medical services available in the United States surpassed my expectations. Shiloh's ambition to provide expert medical care also impels her to acts of service as it did last summer when she interned at Baltimore's Good Samaritan Hospital, helping patients keep their spirits up with her art supplies and flair for positive, energetic conversation. We also admire Shiloh's membership in the U.S. Naval Sea Cadet Corps, which we're told has taught her much about discipline, teamwork, leadership, and the responsibilities of military service. Shiloh intends to major in health sciences in college, aspiring to earn advanced degrees in nursing that will afford her an opportunity to apply cutting-edge research to everyday health practices. Of special interest are hair and skin diseases known to affect the lives of African American women in particular. As she pursues innovative techniques in nursing and dermatology, the goal, Shiloh says, will be to help all men and women thrive in their skin and hair health. Shiloh's gifts as a pianist are matched by the leadership skills she has displayed as the founder of her school's Black Student Union, where her chocolate sales and jollof rice competitions have kept the Science Point community solvent and very well fed. Shiloh will be attending the University of Maryland in the fall. Congratulations. And next, please welcome to the podium in our history category, Colin Treatman Clark of Annapolis High School. Colin is our kind of historian, a scholar who can produce a learned disquisition on how Enlightenment ideals animated the French Revolution, and at the same time relive the excitement of a visit to Lexington and Concord, or a classroom role play of Gouverneur Morris of New York expounding on the new American system before other enactors of the Constitutional Convention of 1787. I may have become so entrenched in my obscure quest for random facts that I lost sight of my original goal, Colin enthuses, but in the end, I was able to put on the best portrayal of the penman of the preamble that my AP US history class has ever seen. Stephen Belizzi, Annapolis's Social Studies Department Chair, tells us that Colin is one of the brightest and hardest working students I have taught in my 16-year career. His interest in the subject matter, his background knowledge, his work ethic, and his hunger for learning are unparalleled. Not surprisingly, Colin has participated in the National History Bee, but he also was a first-place regional finalist in the Future Business Leaders of America Business Law competition. He's also a varsity soccer player, a teaching assistant at the St. Anne's School Summer Science Camp, principal horn in the Panther Band, an actor who treads the boards for the Annapolis High Drama Company, and a sailing instructor at the Antique Boat Museum in Clayton, New York. For all Colin's talents, though, it's the study of history that assumes pride of place among his intellectual priorities. When I visit a city and admire its beautiful architecture, he writes, I'm curious about how the city's character reflects the different cultures that have settled there over time. It's an engaging endeavor to understand how everything around us came to be. Please congratulate Colin Treatman Clark.
And we continue. May I present Syed Ahmed of South River High School, who is the winner for our award for mathematics. Syed has taken every advanced mathematics course he could find and excelled at all of them. It was a sample of his handiwork in Calculus 3 that captured our attention, with his flair for clear, meticulous calculations carrying the day. Syed is the type of student who inspires those around him, including his teachers, says Josh Carroll of the South River faculty. He carries himself with a positive attitude, and he never sees challenges as obstacles. Rather, he views them as opportunities for growth and learning. Excuse me. Mathematics, our winner tells us, is an extraordinary undertaking not to be taken lightly. Math is filled with numbers, letters, and Greek symbols. It's all around us, he writes. Math can help us understand patterns and relationships between objects and the real world. It's the language of the universe, and to me, it just makes sense. That level of understanding is already in demand, as Syed has secured an internship performing cybersecurity operations with a local firm and has joined with Lockheed Martin to develop a video game promoting cybersecurity, which he then shared with middle school students. Syed tells us that his skills as a leader were sharpened by a self-inspired dare to take a 50-foot plunge into waters waiting below. That was, he writes, my symbolic leap of faith, an exhilarating embrace of a newly found freedom and courage, shaping me for my future as a leader. Before long, Syed had become president of the Wounded Warriors Club, an active participant in the Future Business Leaders of America, where he networks like a champ, and an enthusiastic bodybuilder at the gym. In 1 year, he says, I went from being an introverted and anxious adolescent to a positive and fearless leader in multiple organizations. That trend will no doubt continue next year and beyond at the University of Maryland, where Syed will major in computer engineering. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our Mathematics Award winner, Syed Ahmed of South River High. Next, we would like to introduce Eleanor Hill of the Severn School. Eleanor is a gifted full-service mathematician who can put her numerical wizardry to work calculating the surface area of a torus using polar parameterization, or earning you a pretty penny by directing your investments where her valuation models take them. Severn's math chair, Julianne Meyer, informs us that as one of the managers of Severn's student-led investment portfolio, Ellie led a team that put its money in a uranium trust, a prescient move, says Meyer, who once worked in the financial sector, given current shifts in energy policy. In my career on Wall Street, he says, I would have hired Ellie in a heartbeat. Our winner has distinguished herself in all areas of mathematics at Severn and has enrolled in multivariable calculus through the Malone Schools Network, her school's online partner. By the time Eleanor graduates, she will have taken the equivalent of 4 college-level courses. In describing the work in vector calculus, linear algebra, and multivariable calculus she submitted to us, Eleanor stressed that visual elements really matter in the acquisition of her own mathematical skills and those of others. I am designing physical models that would help math students truly visualize what they are learning, she explains. Eleanor's admirable talents splay outward to other areas, as she is the editor-in-chief of the school paper, a varsity swimmer, and a Severn School ambassador. But mathematics is her great love, and we smiled along with her at the 6-part proof she constructed to prove the efficacy of leaving space for random scribbling in her math notes. I will save extra space for scribbles, and I won't be afraid to scratch them out, she concludes. They have made me who I am, and for this reason they are a necessity. Quod erat demonstrandum indeed. Eleanor will be attending Northwestern University, where she will major in mathematical methods and the social sciences. Ladies and gentlemen, Eleanor Hill of the Severn School. The winner of our scholarship in the performing arts is Olivia Crane of Rockbridge Christian Academy, who is before us now. Olivia won our admiration with the commendable artistry she brought to the first movement of Felix Mendelssohn's Violin Concerto. Indeed, even as she was spinning out the opening phrases of that great work of the Romantic era, we found ourselves agreeing with James Stern of the University of Maryland Music Faculty, who told us Olivia has shown the kind of sensitivity, attention to detail, and technical mastery required to excel. What came through most vividly to us as she conveyed the yearning and passion of Mendelssohn's melodies is that Olivia sees her music making as an act of service. By connecting emotionally with my audience, she writes, I have been able to share part of myself with every person I have played violin for. Live music inspires joy and meaning in those who hear it. Olivia has imparted joy and meaning in other realms too, as a gifted student of philosophy, art history, and Latin, a devotee of literature and the cinema who has lectured on notions of good and evil in Tolkien and popular film, and the author of several projects and presentations that have carried Rockbridge's good name across the country. As a mentor to younger students, an enthusiastic fundraiser for hurricane survivors, and an intern with the Maryland Family Institute, she has served her school and community with equal distinction. Her attentiveness to those around her, eagerness to learn, exceptional gifts, and diligent work ethic will serve her well in her college education and far into the future, says Mandy Ball, principal of Rockbridge's upper school. We heard all that in her playing and are sure that Olivia will continue to serve others as she serves Mendelssohn, Bruch, and other great composers whose masterworks she has been blessed to play. Olivia will be attending the University of Virginia, where she will be focusing on cognitive science and music. Ladies and gentlemen, Olivia Crane, the winner for Performing Arts. And allow me to introduce Madeline Neal of Crofton High School, also a winner of our Performing Arts Scholarship. Madeline won our admiration by demonstrating remarkable versatility as a dancer. Her application video included a traditional en pointe presentation and a lively tap routine. Her live audition piece, Turned to Stone, showcased Madeline's gift for contemporary dance and the passion that animates her every step. Her ability to connect with the choreographer's intention while infusing her own humanity into every piece she performs makes her a captivating performer to watch, says Rachel Morrissey, dance company director at Crofton High School. Madeline's flair for communication through movement comes from within. In a time when division reigns, Madeline writes, dance remains a constant that unites people with beauty, grace, and emotion. The blend of a dancer's self-expression and an audience's emotion allows us to participate in unique experience with every performance. This is the mindset she has brought to her many performances at Crofton High and with the Design in Motion studio, where she has danced leading roles in The Nutcracker and Cinderella and won numerous awards for her dancing and choreography. Madeline takes the stage with a positive, energetic mindset that animates her conviction that dance can be a means of improving physical and emotional health. After completing an internship with a physical therapist, Madeline has decided to combine her gifts as a dancer with a career in health science, studying dance in college while also following a pre-physical therapy track. The way that physical therapy helped me continue my dancing while struggling with scoliosis paved the way for me to do the same for others, she tells us. As Madeline's talent inspires service, she lives out the wisdom of the great dancer, choreographer José Limón, who said, "We are never more truly and profoundly human than when we dance." Madeline will be attending Elon University, where she will major in dance performance choreography and exercise science. Ladies and gentlemen, Madeline Neal of Crofton High School.
And in the science category, please welcome Kateri Jarvis of Severna Park High School. Kateri is already a medical researcher in the Neurology and Human Cell Department at the Johns Hopkins Alzheimer's Disease Research Center. Jin-Chong Xu, her program director, tells us that Kateri has displayed a profound interest in cellular neuroscience, particularly in Alzheimer's and neuroinflammatory diseases. Kateri's productive attitude and openness to feedback has allowed her to integrate seamlessly into our lab's workflow and contribute significantly to ongoing projects, he writes. Her contributions will be acknowledged as a co-author in our forthcoming publication. Drawing from that same well of knowledge, Kateri was named the winner for chemistry in last year's AACPS Science Expo. Outside the lab, she is a leading petty officer first class with the United States Naval Sea Cadet Corps. In her personal essay, Kateri tells us that her middle name, Ai, means love in Mandarin Chinese. Inspired by that name, she has cultivated a vibrant and compassionate spirit that has led her to found Severna Park's chapter of the Wishing Crane Project that donates homemade arts and crafts to hospices and hospitals. Kateri also was a founder of Severna Park's Youth Bridge, a project that helps non-native speakers improve their English skills. Dovetailing with that is her involvement with the Global Conversation Cafe, SPHS's online vehicle for the exchange of languages and cultures. And in a totally different vein, we proudly salute the Commissioner of Bay Area Youth Sports. So while her well-established efficiency and reliability are still at the ready, Kateri tells us that her life today is about passion, joy, and the freedom to grow. She follows those directives in the laboratory and out, she says, not for the sake of approval, but because they nourish my soul. We admire her as much for her wisdom as for her science. She will be attending the University of Maryland, majoring in cell biology and genetics. Ladies and gentlemen, Kateri Jarvis. And now, also in science, please welcome Ella Lovelace of South River High School. So Ella is the developer of an experiment on the effects of microgravity on, wait for it, Lepidium sativum, garden cress, that was sent to the International Space Station for completion. Though her scientific handiwork earned her a handshake from the general in charge of the U.S. Space Force and an opportunity to inspect a Starlink satellite close up, the benefits didn't end there. Ella writes, "This experience got me thinking about the building blocks of life, how growth will be achieved outside the Earth's gravitational pull in the near future, and the technological challenges that must be overcome to make this possible. When not pondering the future of biophysics, Ella makes indelible marks on the quality of life in her school and community. An active Future Business Leaders of America member, she was selected to present her business plan to members of a statewide conference and authored an essay that was selected for presentation at the WJZ Black History Oratory Competition. A highly decorated Girl Scout and the holder of a student pilot license, Ella's generous spirit and positive attitude are also important ingredients in her Seahawk legacy. South River teacher Brian Davidson recalls that Ella was part of the planning for a STEM Day event for some 2,000 youngsters that was sponsored by the Bowie Bay Sox. He tells us that after that highly successful event concluded, Ella learned that one school had been unable to attend. She immediately contacted the principal and organized a STEM Day just for those kids. This was not expected or necessary, Mr. Davidson recalls, but Ella insisted. Mark Schrader, also of the South River faculty, tells us that the impact Ella has made on me makes me strive to be a better teacher, to set my bar higher. I'll forever thank her for that. Attending the University of Maryland, majoring in engineering, welcome Ella Lovelace. In the social sciences, we welcome Hafsa Hamdawi of Crofton High School. Hamza impressed us with a pair of essays that handled social scientific content in a sophisticated, well-written manner. One dealt with political and social responses to industrialization in the late 18th and 19th century. The other used historical documents to analyze the political administration of fledgling European empires. But what really commanded our attention was the eloquence with which Hafsa spoke of the importance of observing life through the prisms of political and sociological analysis. What mysteries remain undiscovered in Petra, she asks. Why do Japanese politicians bow when they make mistakes, but American ones rarely apologize? These questions push me to analyze the intersections of law, culture, and governing skills that will be invaluable in my pursuit of a legal career. We were also fascinated by Hafsa's personal essay, which used her family's walnut table as a metaphor for an international childhood spent in Oklahoma, where she was born, then Britain, Morocco, the Arab Emirates, and finally back to America. It was a complex identity, she writes, one that took years to piece together, just like the stories etched into that table. Known for her adept leadership skills, she serves as the student on the AACPS Board of Education and a Senate page in the 2025 Maryland General Assembly. And with a staggering number of academic and service-related accomplishments to her credit, it's no exaggeration to say that Hafsa has been indispensable to the quality of life at Crofton since the first day she walked through the door. I have been impressed by her initiative, independence, generosity of spirit, and integrity, says Martin Noga of Crofton's World and Classical Languages Department. She has the emotional intelligence to support the greater good of the group, something that is very critical in any organization or institution. Planning to attend the University of Virginia and studying public policy and leadership, congratulations to Hafsa Hamdawi. And now we welcome Laura Gels of Broadneck High School. Laura began her artistic life as a talented dancer before a connective tissue disorder affected her ability to express herself through movement. The news was devastating, Laura recalls, but then I had an epiphany. In that moment of clarity, I knew that I must not allow my circumstances to affect my spirit. If my passion for dancing wasn't meant to be, why not channel that passion elsewhere? That elsewhere turned out to be a studio art. Now she tells us, when I'm stressed or my deep feelings begin to feel too much, I reach for my sketchbook. We were very impressed by the entries in Laura's portfolio, where the variety of her subject matter and her expressive uses of color assured us that we were meeting an artist of genuine stature. In Obsessed, we sensed the bright reds and pinks of a sugary confection, while in Whispers of Tomorrow, her quiet, subtle colors enhanced the tenderness of a mother's eyes as she gazed at her newborn. And we agreed unanimously that Bittersweet Goodbyes was the highlight, as the release of a goldfish from a bowl to a stream created a mix of sadness and hope. She always surprises me in how effortlessly she can change gears and apply new approaches, says Katie Russo of Broadneck's art department. Laura is consistently looking for ways to add more tools to our artistic toolbox, experiment with new processes and media, and take risks whenever possible to grow in her abilities. Laura has been named the historian of her National Art Honor Society, even as she continues to participate in the Spanish Honor Society and Broadneck's Gardening Club. In her art and in her life, she strikes us as a young woman of admirable talent whose wisdom belies her years. She plans to attend McDaniel College, studying business administration and studio arts. Please congratulate Laura Gels. And next, we welcome Selena Zhang of Meade High School. Selena has worked in her parents' restaurant since the age of 7 and tells us that the experience has taught her discipline, resilience, leadership skills, and the importance of both service and family. The restaurant is also a setting where the mastery of her 2 languages, English and Mandarin, has flourished. Mandarin is important to me because it is considered my first language, says Selena, a high-performing student in Meade's International Baccalaureate program. This language makes up a big aspect of my daily life, as it is how I interact and communicate with family. It informs Selena's worldview as well. Being able to understand Mandarin, especially online media, basically grants me access to information and updates from another world, she writes. As president of her National Chinese Honor Society, Selena has demonstrated exceptional leadership by organizing a successful multicultural night and breakfast. She has attended Chinese school every Sunday since kindergarten, completing an 11-year journey with her graduation in 2023. She was named a winner in the Outstanding Chinese Works competition by the Chinese Language Teachers Association that same year. So Selena supports non-heritage Chinese learners inside and outside of school and has completed many acts of community service with such organizations as Kits to Heart, which collects handmade origami from volunteers to distribute those beautiful, delicate objects to cancer patients in hospitals. She exemplifies the traits of an open-minded risk-taker, always eager to explore new experiences, says Meade Chinese teacher Jing Dai. Selena's passion for the Chinese language and culture, combined with her leadership skills, dedication, and intellectual curiosity, make her an exceptional candidate for this scholarship. And we agree. For as the Chinese proverb tells us, to have another language is to possess a second soul. Please congratulate Selena, who will be attending University of Maryland and studying business information systems.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next set of awards are generously funded by our scholarship sponsors, organizations, and families who have partnered with Scholarship for Scholars to support our outstanding students. Tonight, we are proud to present 14 awards from 7 different sponsors.
We begin with the Anne Arundel Retired School Personnel Association. Founded in 1940 by 5 classroom retirees, the Anne Arundel Retired Teachers Association was the first of its kind in Maryland. Today, with 2,000 members and a name change, the Anne Arundel Retired School Personnel Association offers programs and information to its members and contributes funds to promote educational causes. These 5 scholarships are awarded to students pursuing careers in education. I would like to introduce Matilda Barkley, AARSPA member, scholarship reviewer, and teacher education scholarship chair, and Dr. Les Mowbray, AARSPA member and scholarship reviewer, to present the award certificates to the recipients.
Our first winner in this category, let me introduce Charlotte Crabtree of Broadneck High School. May I also say that as a former Anne Arundel County Public Schools teacher from 19 to 2014 at Annapolis High School, with a couple of years at Meade, it is a special honor, privilege, and joy to tell you about these kids. Charlotte, we'll start with her, is a Renaissance woman whose interests and talents are as varied as they are admirable. A runner whose dogged training regimen raised her to the captaincy of her track and field team. Charlotte is also a marimba and jazz band section leader, a student of art, an entrepreneur who runs her own lawn care business, and the founder of a math team that rose phoenix-like from the ashes of COVID. She's also quick to volunteer to collect and distribute food for those in need, spruce up a neglected cross-country course, and raise funds in support of the Broadneck Music Program. Being busy with community and school activities can be difficult for a young teenager, says Dow Keller of the school's Social Studies Department. However, her dedication empowers her to succeed. Her colleague Brian Hussey echoes that praise. Charlotte's passion for learning, combined with her meticulous approach to her studies, sets her apart as a student destined for academic success, he reports. Her attention to detail is unparalleled, and every assignment she submits is a testament to her dedication. How pleased we are, then, that Charlotte has decided to place her intellect, talent, and altruistic flair in the service of a career in education. As with other scholarship winners, Charlotte's participation in unified sports clubs has drawn her towards special ed. Through clubs, she tells us, I have supported special education students in reaching their individualized education plan goals while helping them develop confidence and essential life skills such as teamwork and communication. The goal, she concludes, is as simple to state as it is challenging to achieve: empower students to overcome obstacles. Embracing that goal as her prime directive, Charlotte says, I have learned the importance of patience, empathy, and accountability. Charlotte will major in secondary education with a specialty in English at Loyola University of Maryland. Please congratulate her for having won this scholarship. Our second winner in this category, unfortunately, has contracted a sudden illness and was unable to be here tonight. But he was such a cool kid. We're going to read the bio anyway. Holden Fontaine from Southern High School. He's a gifted student and a leader who has inspired kids to learn, paint murals, and celebrate autumn in a Pumpkin Palooza festival he organized. He's also a wise and caring friend who learned the value of freewheeling conversation as a means of developing relationships. Inventorying those attributes, Holden decided that a career in teaching was in his future. He's already had the pleasure of working with children in a variety of circumstances, especially as a camp counselor leading kids ages 4 through 14. His goal, he tells us, is to become a teacher who gives students a why for learning. Whatever the age group, after all, there must be a sense of purpose. Lauren Spicer of Southern Social Studies Department applauds his decision to teach. His role as a camp counselor speaks to his character, she says, as he has taken on the responsibility of guiding and mentoring younger children. Their enormously positive response to him, she concludes, reflects Holden's commendable qualities. We are proud that the teaching profession has attracted some of Anne Arundel's best and brightest, and Holden stands front and center among them. A member of several honor societies, he is an advanced placement scholar with distinction and a winner of the College Board's Rural and Small Town National Recognition Award. They do good work down there at Southern. and whether collecting and wrapping toys for needy children, repairing entry ramps at the homes of disabled dwellers, or clearing the grounds at a local nonprofit camp, he is a man of service as well as a student of intellect. His academic excellence, leadership abilities, and commitment make him an ideal recipient for your scholarship, says Ms. Spicer, and we agree completely. For as Rita Pearson, a wonderful teacher herself, once said, every child deserves a champion. Holden will be attending the University of Maryland, where he will be majoring in secondary education, dear after my heart, with a social studies focus. And let us remember him as he's not feeling well, but let's honor him anyway. Holden Fontaine of Southern High. And now, may I introduce someone who is here, Lexi Gamble of Arundel High School. Lexi, I can tell you, is the child of a mother who has spent 25 successful years teaching in a special education classroom. But while Lexi might have some of that talent encoded within, she has worked prodigiously to hone the skills and mindset necessary for success in a classroom of her own. Over the last several years, Lexi has been an active and inspirational leader of our Best Buddies Club, says Arundel special ed teacher Megan Lynch. I can always rely on her helpful, dependable nature to ensure an encouraging, supportive environment. Carolyn Eagle, also of the Arundel faculty, salutes Lexi for the Maryland Youth Service Award she won for organizing an art program at Gigi's Playhouse in Annapolis. Says Ms. Eagle, this initiative provided creative outlets for individuals with Down syndrome, showcasing Lexi's ability to use her leadership skills to bring joy and purpose to those around her. Today, Lexi is working at the Maryland Whole Self Center, where she assists a 16-year-old boy in developing his life skills. These roles have allowed me to combine my passion for advocacy with hands-on experience, reinforcing my desire to pursue a career in this field, Lexi writes. Not surprisingly, our scholarship winner is a woman of service outside the classroom, where she could be found volunteering for key club activities, participating in Arundel Wildcats Against Cancer Club, and managing the school baseball team. Then there is the pop-up pantry and face painting at charitable events, as well as her work as a lifeguard and Starbucks barista. All of these experiences have shaped the person I am today and solidified my desire to follow in my mother's footsteps, Lexi writes. To me, special education is far more than a profession. It is a powerful way to change lives. She will be embarking on that course next year at Westchester University of Pennsylvania, where she will major in special ed. Ladies and gentlemen, Lexi Gamble of Arundel High. And let's now welcome Cheyenne Junta of North County High School. Cheyenne is a field hockey captain, lacrosse player, and National Honor Society student who is gaining a reputation for excellence as a teacher while still in her teens. Currently interning at Hilltop Elementary in Glen Burnie, Cheyenne's supervisor, second grade teacher Allison Strait, is effusive in her praise. She is respectful, caring, and maintains a positive attitude day in and day out, she reports. Cheyenne is always engaged and involved with our students and has built positive relationships with each student and found unique ways to meet their needs. We are also impressed that Cheyenne has been placed in a leadership position in her child development classes, where she has connected not only with the youngsters, but with her fellow students. Cheyenne has a natural ability to design and implement engaging lessons and took great pride in building meaningful relationships with the Child Developed Laboratory Preschool, says Stephanie Carroll, who administers that program. She collaborated effectively with her peers and maintained a positive and enthusiastic attitude. Through her exceptional leadership and unwavering sense of purpose, she has earned not only the highest grades, but also my respect. In her personal essay, Cheyenne explained how eating an apple pie slowly and intentionally helped her achieve the balanced, unrushed outlook that sustains her, and she is already bringing that patient, mature perspective to her Hilltop classroom. She describes her relationship with one young boy who had been acting out. I had tried to establish a connection, talking to him to understand him more, she writes. Lately, he's asking me to help him, and he's engaging with the classroom material as never before. I feel like this experience has allowed me to see how I am meant for this job. Cheyenne will be attending Hood College next year, where she will be majoring in early childhood education. Ladies and gentlemen, Cheyenne Junta of North County High. Allow me now to present Abigail Jeffers of Severna Park High School. Abigail is an avid golfer who captains her school's varsity team, but bowling and bocce are the games that have set her on course for a career in special education. Those are the unified sports that led Abigail to become a best buddy to teammates with disabilities who benefit from her friendship, coaching, and encouragement to join the mainstream of everyday school life. Upon joining Best Buddies as a sophomore, Abigail realized she had a gift for working with those new peers, explaining the rules, coaching them for success, and doing her best to make sure they all felt included. Before long, she was the one being included at birthday parties, graduation celebrations, and other events honoring the students she was helping. Often I am the only mentor at the event, she tells us, but I never feel uncomfortable among my teammates and friends. I am grateful for these experiences and everything I have learned from them. Nadine Hendler, Severna Park's Physical Ed Chair and Unified Sports Director, is effusive in her praise of the buddy she named Captain of the Court in 2024. In one particular instance, Abby stepped up to comfort a teammate who had been publicly bullied, she recalls. The community was aware of what had happened, and Abby took it upon herself to channel our frustration into something positive. She organized a supplies drive to benefit the special education program. We are proud of the humility, integrity, and respect for others Abby brings to all she does, whether editing a yearbook, planning activities for Severna Park's Puzzles Club, or leading her team to a silver medal at a state business competition. Nadine Hendler is convinced that Abigail will have a distinguished career in the classroom, and so are we. She will begin her education as a teacher at Ohio State University in Columbus, where she will be a proud Buckeye, majoring in special ed. Ladies and gentlemen, Abigail Jeffers of Severna Park High School.
Thank you very much. Okay, our next sponsored scholarship is Books for International Goodwill. Founded by the Annapolis Parole Rotary Club, Books for International Goodwill seeks to improve literacy by keeping books alive. With over 10 million books placed into the hands of underserved populations in the United States and around the globe, Books for International Goodwill is the largest volume, volunteer-based book distribution project in the world. I would like to invite Randy Schneider of Books for International Goodwill to the stage to present the award certificates.
Please welcome to the stage Colin Hodson of Annapolis High School. Colin is that rarest of 21st century breeds, a student who comes to a study period for the purpose of reading a book. We have in-depth conversations about social issues that connect to these novels, says Leah Humphreys of the Annapolis English faculty. He often points out passages that have deeper meaning for him, which tells me he has developed not only a love for reading, but the ability to capture deep, meaningful content. For Colin, literacy and personal growth have been one and the same. His love affair with books, he says, has expanded his vocabulary, enhanced his powers of self-expression, and helped him keep his bearings in a world where history, social change, and onrushing technology regularly collide on the printed page. I would go so far as to say that a lack of literacy is dangerous to humanity, Colin writes. Ultimately, literacy is not only a tool for personal growth, it is the catalyst for human ingenuity. To promote thinking, to go with his reading, Colin has started a literary discussion group where he and his colleagues confront matters of politics, ethics, and social behavior. I was able to demonstrate to them that literacy isn't just picking up a book, Colin writes. It's a tool for exploring thought-provoking ideas. We ourselves admired the depths of Colin's thinking in the mature, honest, self-reflective essay he submitted on the recent pandemic and its effect on him. We also salute him as a clarinetist, varsity footballer, and YMCA volunteer. Truly, of all our applicants, Colin was the one who embodied F. Scott Fitzgerald's embrace of a literary state of mind. You discover, the great novelist wrote, that your longings are universal longings, that you're not lonely and isolated from anyone. You belong. And Colin belongs this next semester at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. Please congratulate Colin Hudson.
Okay, now we turn to Bo's effort, Making a Difference in Mental Health. Bo's effort seeks to assemble community resources to break the stigma of mental illness through awareness, education, and guidance. Bo's efforts funds programs that help young adults and their families seek support to manage their illness to live healthy and productive lives. These 3 scholarships are awarded to students interested in pursuing a career in the behavioral and social sciences or psychology fields and has an experience with mental illness personally or with a loved one. I would like to welcome to the stage Todd Garvin, Kathleen Gary, and Catherine Markey, Bo's Effort Board and Scholarship Committee members.
For our first scholarship winner in this category, may I call to the stage Tanai J. Hurd of Annapolis High School. Tanai J. is on a career trajectory that dovetails perfectly with her Bo's Effort Scholarship. A strong student in Annapolis' International Baccalaureate program, Tanai J. is an aspiring psychiatric nurse practitioner whose goal is to provide inclusive care for people of all backgrounds without fear of judgment. Mental health issues, Tanai J. tells us, are stigmatized too often, and she seeks to challenge any lingering stereotypes. With my experiences, she writes, I have learned that mental health shouldn't be a solitary journey, but one built on community and understanding. In college, I plan to continue advocating for mental health by joining or creating wellness groups and working toward a career as a psychiatric nurse practitioner. As an active and accomplished member of her Panther community, Tanai J. is well on her way to making this happen. She is a member of no fewer than 3 academic honor societies while leading Annapolis High's own wellness community. Moreover, she continues to spread her positive message in such social action groups as the Student Equity Advisory Team, SOAR, Students Organizing Against Racism, the Black Student Union, and the Girls for Girls Club. To each, she brings an awareness of how important a single expression of support can be. I was pushed out of my comfort zone by people who saw potential in me, she says. My commitment to taking any opportunity and encouraging others to step out of their shell is my way of honoring their encouragement. By participating in such events as the Renew You Yoga and Wellness Fair and Rise to Lead Conference, that's exactly what she's doing. She shines in her strengths and works diligently on her areas of growth, says school counselor Laura Platania. Tinai-J is a natural leader, offering support and strength to her peers and community, which is exactly what she'll be doing next year and for several years thereafter at North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University. Go A&T. Tinai-J Hurd, ladies and gentlemen, Annapolis High School. May I introduce River Horn of Southern High School. River is a courageous scholar athlete who has withstood difficult circumstances and the untimely death of her father to become one of Southern's best and brightest. In describing her arduous emotional journey, River's thinking is imbued with a wisdom that belies her years. Grief is not a straight line, she writes. I wouldn't even say it's a zigzag. Some days it feels lighter, but that doesn't mean it's gotten any less heavy. It means you have gotten stronger. Ultimately, she concludes, the past is a reminder to love deeply and embrace each day. Tomorrow isn't promised for anyone. Thanks to her courageous brand of wisdom, though, the promise of River's tomorrows shines brightly indeed. She has won acceptance into the Early Assurance Occupational Therapy Program at Shenandoah University, where she will create a new legacy of study and service. Already, she has shadowed a pediatric occupational therapist, an experience that urged her on academically and professionally. I supported children with behavioral, learning, cognitive, and developmental difficulties, she writes. This experience opened my eyes to the challenges these children face and the incredible potential they possess. A soccer star in the Southern Bulldog program, River has been augmenting her communication skills by studying American Sign Language, enhancing her ability to reach out to even more children. River has volunteered at Gigi's Playhouse and organized a book drive to support children's literacy by donating the books to Tracy's Elementary School in South County. I have witnessed her remarkable personal academic growth, her unwavering compassion for others, and her resilience in managing her own mental health challenges, says Southern's Lisa King. In the end, Scholarship for Scholars agrees with Mark Twain that this river, like the mighty Mississippi, has great wisdom and whispers its secrets to the hearts of men. River will be attending Shenandoah University, as I said, where she will major in psychology and occupational therapy. Ladies and gentlemen, River Horn of Southern High School. And as our third winner in this category, may I present Lisbeth Loza Cervantes of Old Mill High School. Lisbeth is an accomplished student athlete who became invested in the study of psychology when a family member began struggling with mental illness. Unwilling to stand by passively without trying to help, Lisbeth immersed herself in the study of bipolarity and borderline personality disorders in order to understand what was happening and offer support. I refused to stand by and watch the condition worsen, she writes. I knew that I had a front row seat for the behavior, and by documenting it, I could help identify the struggle and get the support that was needed and deserved. By researching brain scanning and other diagnostic techniques, Lisbeth found an interest that inspired her academically and professionally. I realized how deeply I want to be involved in the psychology field, she tells us. I want to utilize my knowledge of the behavioral sciences and guarantee help to those who struggle with mental illness. I also aim to dissolve the stigma around mental health and create a supportive and understanding environment for individuals seeking help and health. As a strong student and a member of Old Mill's varsity lacrosse and field hockey teams, Lisbeth has demonstrated leadership on the field and off. Her field hockey coach, Stephanie Shanahan, notes that by her sportsmanship, her excellence in the classroom, and her ongoing advocacy for mental health and wellness, Lisbeth has demonstrated an admirable work ethic and exemplary time management skills. Juggling a job, sports, academic responsibilities, and family obligations is no easy feat, she said, yet Lisbeth has done so with grace and maturity. Patrick Sprankle, who oversees the youth ministry at Lisbeth's church, sums it up by saying, "This is a young woman who seeks to make a positive difference in the world." And that process is already very much underway. Ladies and gentlemen, let's congratulate Lisbeth Lucia Cervantes of Old Mill High School.
Our next category is Crosby Marketing and Media Studies. Crosby Marketing develops integrated marketing communications programs that help their clients positively impact people's lives by influencing opinion and motivating behavior change. Their work touches the lives of virtually everyone in America through programs for government agencies, healthcare organizations, nonprofits, causes, and businesses that believe in the power of doing good. This scholarship is awarded to a student pursuing a career in marketing or media studies.
Please welcome to our stage Jordan Bull of Chesapeake Science Point Public Charter School. Jordan has a drive and resilience that stood out to us. A go-getter par excellence, Jordan secured, Jordan secured, Jordan. Jordan secured 2 competitive marketing internships, excelling in both while working 30 hours a week, earning a perennial spot on the superintendent's honor roll, and participating in 2 varsity sports. Her ability to balance these commitments successfully while benefiting from each is truly inspiring. Jordan is a self-starter, which she demonstrated when she read up on marketing strategies and took charge of promoting Science Point's boys soccer team on social media. She quickly demonstrated an ability to create engaging content and build an audience. Jordan would go on to secure an internship at BL8K. Am I saying that right? Okay. Where she wrote weekly articles on fashion and entertainment, created social media promotions, and analyzed market trends. Her other internship came courtesy of the Dexter Williams Company, where she assisted with public relations and other tasks related to fashion. It's the fashion industry that's been a source of joy and excitement for several years now. If I had never picked up a Cosmopolitan magazine as a 13-year-old, there would be no Jordan Bull, she informs us, in her punchy, highly engaging writing style. Fashion campaigns gave me life, and I wanted to be part of them, whether I had to work as a creative director or marketer. Jordan's interest in fashion also inspired a confidence and drive she could bring to other areas, like the science fairs and essay competitions she has won and the social organizations she has served. With my hands, she writes, I wanted to create garments and curate fashion articles. With my brain and voice, I wanted to pitch ideas to companies, help support a good image, and produce the best advertisements. She's well on her way, and she'll be on her way to the University of Maryland studying communications. Jordan Bull. And now we welcome to the stage Judah Goldstein of Broadneck High School. Judah, I can read this without these, but I think it would be far better if I put them on. Judah is a self-taught filmmaker who has turned his passion for his craft into a vehicle for improving the quality of life for athletes, naturalists, actors, and summer campers eager to create special effects like he does. As a freshman, Judah took the initiative to film Broadneck football games, ultimately becoming the manager of the varsity team. Beginning with YouTube tutorials, he developed the editing and VFX skills he began applying to videos for the Chesapeake Conservancy, school productions, other athletic events, and Temple Beth Shalom in Arnold. What we admire most, however, is not the technical skills alone, but the initiative Judah took to learn, expand, and share them. He didn't wait for opportunities, he created them. Judah's ability to turn his gifts into meaningful contributions across school, community, and professional settings is truly a standout achievement. In the 4 years I have known him, he has always managed to involve himself in something interesting or unexpected, says Ross Steinley, a Broadneck English teacher and film instructor. Most high school students limit themselves and are unsure of what they can achieve. That is absolutely absent in Judah. For our scholarship winner, his life in film takes on an almost spiritual dimension. When the world is moving in chaotic ways, Judah writes, creating VFX is like a meditation I can do. It recenters me and allows me to compartmentalize my millions of thoughts into one thing. He feels fortunate to have discovered his gift that captivates him to the point of losing track of time. Judah writes, in the coming years, in college and beyond, I hope to use this passion to create films, telling inspiring and entertaining stories with the same kind of spectacular visuals that first amazed me as a child. Studying business and film at the University of Maryland this fall, congratulations to Judah Goldstein.
Our next scholarship group is for the RBC Baum-Jackson Community Service Award. The Baum-Jackson Investment Group is committed to managing their client financial life with care, integrity, and expertise while allowing their clients to focus their time and energy on family, friendships, and community. While investing with integrity is what they do for their clients every day, the Baum-Jackson Investment Group takes their commitment to integrity one step further with their community involvement, which focuses on providing transformative, character-shaping experiences for today's young people. I would like to introduce Margie Jackson and Steve Rice from RBC Wealth Management, Baum-Jackson Investment Group in Annapolis, to present the award.
I'd like to call to the stage Rachel Spitzer of Broadneck High School, who is the winner of this scholarship. Before I read this, I have to say it's just daunting to be talking about somebody who's done more good in the last 10 minutes than I've done in the last 10 years, but that's the quality of student that we're honoring this evening. Rachel Spitzer of Broadneck High School has a gift for service that's animated by a strange-sounding acronym that reads COGEC. COGEC is a family motto that stands for curious, optimistic, grateful, enthusiastic, and kind. This collection of adjectives has sustained Rachel's family in difficult times and provided the springboard for her to jump into her community, country, and world with the avowed intention of making things better. For while Rachel is an award-winning Girl Scout, a youth community leader for the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, and a Rotary International ambassador, she can unleash an organizational vision that leaves the ordinary behind. Rachel is the founder-president of MedPaws, a business that designs animal bandanas, sells them, and donates a portion of its profits to the SPCA. She's also founded the Tiny Kindness Campaign, an organization that promotes kindness and an anti-bullying message in collaboration with schools, libraries, and community groups. Rachel has also written, illustrated, and published a book called Tiny Kindness to spread her message further. I feel empowered by the idea that I've now inspired other people, other young people, to be creative in their own ways to evoke change, Rachel writes. I have plans to write more books so that I can reach even more people around the globe. Kelly Stewart Mason of the Broadneck faculty expresses admiration and wonder for all her student has achieved. She does not do it to check a box, she writes. She does it to truly help out and make something happen. a member of 5 honor societies, and the recipient of awards too numerous to count, Rachel embodies the wisdom of Jesuit priest Michael Graham, who told us that service is what prayer looks like when it gets off its knees and walks around in the world. Or as Rachel puts it, always be Kogek. Rachel will be attending Trinity College next year, majoring in environmental science and studio art. Ladies and gentlemen, let's congratulate Rachel Spitzer of Broadneck High.
Our next sponsored scholarship is the Shane A. Morris II Business. Shane A. Morris II is a 2011 graduate of South River High School, where he played football and wrestled for 4 years, and a 2015 graduate from the University of South Carolina, where he earned a degree in business administration. This scholarship is sponsored by his family in memory of Shane and supports a student pursuing a degree in business.
And please welcome to the stage James Freed of Arundel High School. James is an AP Scholar with distinction at Arundel and a straight A business student at Anne Arundel Community College. The work sample he submitted to us is a well-designed business brief summarizing matters of human resources, technology, production, competition, regulations, and licensing in the fast-paced, highly competitive restaurant and beverage service sector. James is also a man of service who tutors his teammates on the varsity football team he captains and distributes meals for those in need under the auspices of the Loaves and Fishes Ministry. We admire that James sees his business acumen, perhaps directed towards sports management, as a road not only to profit, but toward a life of service. It was early in his high school years that James realized he was happiest when involved. Before long, he was moving boxes, setting up decorations, and managing scoreboards. But it was in his leadership class that he became involved with the Polar Bear Plunge, joining in to plan and market the annual event where students raise money for the Special Olympics by jumping into the frigid Chesapeake Bay. During what he calls the fastest January of my life, he could be found buttonholing any student who would listen, selling T-shirts, and hosting basketball games in support of the event. James would wind up leading 606 loud, proud, public-spirited, shivering Wildcats to Sandy Point State Park to raise $44,300, earning Arundel recognition as the largest plunge team in the state. I was part of that team, James says proudly, a team I helped lead to success. He has the drive, compassion, and authenticity to thrive in any environment, says Arundel business teacher Stephen Metzger. I am excited to see the many ways he will make a positive impact on the future. Planning to attend Loyola University and study business management, please congratulate James Freed.
Our last sponsored scholarship is the Zach Schwartz Scholar Athlete. Zach Schwartz, a 2005 graduate of Annapolis High School, where he played lacrosse, soccer, and ran indoor track team. He's a 2009 graduate of University of Maryland with a Bachelor of Arts in History. Zach is missed by his family and friends who sponsor this scholarship in his memory. The scholarship is awarded to a student who demonstrates academic excellence as well as sportsmanship, achievement, and leadership in athletics. I would like to invite Larry Schwartz, Zach's father, to the stage to present the award certificate.
I'd like to call to the stage Benjamin Suker of Broadneck High School, the winner of the Zach Schwartz Scholarship. Just one quick comment, if I may. I had the good fortune, I taught at Annapolis High School. I taught Zach and remember him with great fondness, and it's always a sad but special pleasure to present this scholarship. Ben Suker of Broadneck High School is the winner of this scholarship that honors the memory of a strong student, an athlete who always gave his best, and a smiling, well-intentioned young man whose joyful presence continues to sparkle in the lives of those who knew him. We are very happy to have found these same qualities in this year's winner of the Zach Schwartz Scholarship. Not only has Benjamin excelled across the full academic spectrum, he is the kind of student who goes out of his way to assist classmates, teachers, and members of his community. He is not only a leader, says Spanish teacher Crystal Lutz, but a compassionate and thoughtful individual who strives to leave a positive mark wherever he goes. That would include volunteer activities like maintaining the grounds for Bay Area youth sports, coaching kids at the Olmsted Swim Club, and serving as a youth helper at Temple Beth Shalom in Arnold. What is also clear is that Benjamin has been able to balance his competitive drive with a willingness to seek out joy in the many directions his talents take him. If all you do is grind, he writes, everything turns to dust. Benjamin put that wisdom into practice when his participation in interscholastic soccer became that sort of grind, and he left the varsity team to put his skills to work elsewhere. It's a testament to his character that he didn't quit and go home, says Andrew Vilwalk of the Broadneck faculty. He took his talents from soccer to cross country and was an outstanding member of the team. In my mind, the maturity to make this decision and the character to bring his best to his new sport are examples of how Ben brings his best to all areas of his life. Ben will attend the University of Maryland, where he will study neuroscience. Ladies and gentlemen, Benjamin Sucor, winner of the Zach Schwartz Scholar Athlete Award. We now come to the final category of the evening, our honorary scholarships. Tonight, 3 honorary awards will be presented. Our first honorary scholarship is our trustees' honorary scholarship, which is awarded to a student who has demonstrated exceptional academic achievement, along with meaningful engagement in both school and community life. That scholarship will be given this year to Lillian Moss of South River High School, and we invite Lillian to the stage now. Lillian is an accomplished environmental scientist who was the only high schooler selected to work alongside college researchers on a recent Chesapeake Bay research project. Despite being younger than her fellow interns, Lily not only kept pace but consistently exceeded expectations, writes Monica Noble, who led the enterprise. Her poise, clarity, and technical mastery left a lasting impression on colleagues and supervisors alike. Those same qualities surfaced in county and state envirothons, where Lily collected first-place awards in the soils, aquatics, forestry, and renewable energy categories. We're also impressed by the project on plankton light traps she submitted to the Smithsonian Environmental Research Center. What struck us, along with Lily's gifts as a researcher, is the sense of practicality she brings to her work. For her senior capstone, she is working with a local farm to understand how commercial livestock practices might increase animal resilience to extreme weather events brought on by climate change. Her practicality turns to advocacy as she concludes, I hope to optimize agricultural practices to stabilize our food supply while increasing the farm's profitability. And I will continue to advocate for my community because future generations deserve a healthy and safe Chesapeake Bay. Lily shifts naturally into leadership mode as when she participated in crab field surveys with 72 other volunteers ranging in age from 10 to 93 years. Before long, says Monica Noble, she not only handled the technical demands of collecting and processing crab traps, but also guided volunteers through protocols with patience and confidence. Knowledge, skill, and practicality come together as Lily shares her vision of a professional future. I want to enter environmental consulting to find practical solutions that can both support our businesses and protect our bay. and we are honored to help make that happen. Lily will be attending the University of Maryland, where she will be majoring in environmental science. Ladies and gentlemen, Lillian Moss of South River High School.
The George and Ruth Tormey Scholarship is awarded to a student who has demonstrated exceptional academic achievement across multiple disciplines, along with meaningful engagement in both school and community life. The scholarship honors the legacy of George and Ruth Tormey of Deal, Anne Arundel County, whose generous endowment makes this and other scholarships for scholars awards possible. Please welcome to the stage Grant Lonergan of Severn School. Grant is one of those rare folks who can calculate multiple integrals, trace the circuitous path of the respiratory system, and hold forth on thorny issues of scientific ethics while he's repairing your bicycle. He has a natural grace, says Severn chemistry teacher Brennan Boothby. As a writer and thinker, Grant is one of the most talented students I've taught in my career. Elena Zorova, who teaches multivariate calculus in Stanford's online high school, describes him as one of the top performing mathematicians among her students from around the world, while Kirsten Brandel of Severn writes that no matter how challenging the material got, Grant was always excited to tackle it. Grant is quick to place his gifts in service to others, tutoring at Gigi's Playhouse and on the Schoolhouse platform, while volunteering at the University of Maryland Medical Center. But even with all Grant's honors and commendations, we suspect that it's his kindness and decency Severn will remember most. I've seen him tutor young students, bike to school in the rain despite the weather, and bake bread for his classmates and teachers, said Severn English teacher April Doyle. It has been my pleasure to teach him. Grant is headed for a career in medicine, and oncology attracts him the most. Science has given me a direction in my life towards someday being part of the fight against cancer, he says. Already he has cycled 3,300 miles and raised $11,500 to combat the disease that took his father's life. With every mile, I feel a powerful connection to my dad and his battle with cancer, Grant writes, looking forward to a future spent walking alongside those affected by the disease. And while I walk, he concludes, I will probably look a lot like my dad. He's going to Stanford University and studying bioengineering and pre-med. Please congratulate Grant Lonergan.
The final award of the evening is the Edward J. Anderson Scholarship, presented to the most outstanding scholarship among all applicants. This scholarship honors Edward J. Anderson, former superintendent of Anne Arundel County Public Schools, whose vision and leadership led to the creation of Scholarship for Scholars. So let me tell you something about our winner as Sabrina Richter of Severna Park High School takes center stage. Sabrina is the holder of a curriculum vitae that left us impressed and maybe a little stunned. We met this aspiring chemical engineer in the portfolio she maintained through her Project Lead the Way courses, admiring the sketches, designs, and testing strategies she compiled on her way to becoming one of the brightest lights in Severna Park's constellation of engineering stars. Sabrina has excelled at everything she has touched in science and technology, says Lead the Way teacher Stephen Cahoon, who counts himself lucky to have caught a small glimpse of her immense gifts. We soon found out that Sabrina is also a published author whose sci-fi novel, Gift of the Fallen, is available for purchase on Amazon. What we saw of her tale of interplanetary unrest, imperial rivalry, and political volatility, all imbued with hints of magic, makes for mighty juicy storytelling. but we are also fascinated by the connections she draws for us between her fictional STEM winder and the STEM world she inhabits as an engineer. Both begin with a concept, she explains. One must search the market and find a gap to fill with innovation and creativity. Next, as she describes it, comes the drafting, redrafting, and editing, all accompanied by torrents of self-criticism. Finally, Sabrina concludes, the creator takes a leap of faith, hoping others find enough value in the project to justify its existence. Sabrina also writes and directs plays, leads the tech team and sound crews for Severna Park's vaunted music theater productions. A novelist, playwright, stage director, and scientist from another era, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe once said, "A really great talent finds its happiness in execution." Well, Sabrina has executed in a truly grand manner that Edward J. Anderson and his successors would be proud to honor and praise. She will be attending the University of Notre Dame, where, as one of the Fighting Irish, she will study chemical or mechanical engineering. Ladies and gentlemen, let's congratulate Sabrina Richter, this year's winner of the Edward J. Anderson Award. It is our tradition for the recipient of the Edward J. Anderson Honorary Scholarship Award to share a few words. So, on behalf of Scholarship for Scholars and the class of 2025 award recipients, it is my pleasure to call this year's winner, Sabrina Richter, to the microphone to share some thoughts.
Good evening. It is an honor to thank our families, friends, scholarship sponsors, members of the Board of Education, the Scholarship for Scholars Board of Trustees, and most importantly, my fellow award recipients for being here tonight for the 41st Annual Scholarships for Scholars Awards Ceremony. To my fellow awardees, I'd like to start by congratulating each and every one of you. Each of us excels in different areas and subjects, yet we are all alike in one striking way. We took a leap. With eager and earnest minds, we dove headfirst into our passions, knowing that personal growth, satisfaction, and intellectual development may be our sole reward. While those intrinsic rewards are invaluable, tonight we are also being recognized in a very meaningful way. Your hard work, your persistence, your achievements and accomplishments throughout your high school careers have all led you to this moment, and it is well deserved. Congratulations. Of course, none of this would be possible without an organization committed to recognizing and celebrating the achievements of Anne Arundel County students. On behalf of all the recipients here tonight, I'd like to extend my deepest gratitude to Scholarship for Scholars and to the generous sponsors who make these scholarships possible. Anne Arundel Retired School Personnel Association, Books for International Goodwill, Bose Effort, Crosby Marketing Communications, the Shane A. Morris II family, RBC Wealth Management, and the Zach Schwartz family. Thank you for believing in us and for investing in our future. As we move beyond high school, these scholarships serve not just as recognition for a job well done, but as a vote of confidence, inspiring us to continue learning, working diligently, creating, and striving toward excellence in our fields and in everything we do. That said, none of us have arrived at this point on our own. Behind every awardee are many people who have helped and inspired us along the way. To the family member who offers wisdom and continues to give the best of advice, to the friend who lightens our spirits and brightens our day, to the teachers who spark our love of learning and desire to excel. Your influence and support have made all the difference. Please, let's take a moment to give a round of applause to everyone in the audience tonight. You were invited here because your impact is truly immeasurable. On one personal note, I would like to thank God for his unwavering love and support throughout my high school journey, even when I did not recognize that it was there. To Scholarship for Scholars, thank you again for this incredible opportunity. And to my fellow awardees, once again, congratulations on your achievements. You all deserve it more than you could ever know.
So thank you, Sabrina. Yeah, you are truly an inspiration. We can't wait to see what you do as you launch your college experience and your career in the future. So before we end, though, I have a few people I do need to thank in addition to those we already talked about. So first of all, putting something together like this takes a lot of work, right? So we have an outstanding committee led by Cindy Carlton and Paranez Gandhi, who are off here. You'll see them around, but we want to thank them for putting together this program. There's a lot of detail. Secondly, all of these lovely biographies that you heard were written by Phil Greenfield. And, I mean, he puts so much time and effort into that. So, thank you. Thank you, Phil. And you're going to get to read them all. Don't worry, they will be in this lovely booklet that you all are going to get on your way out, and it talks about all of our wonderful scholarships. And the final person we have to thank is our executive director for Scholarships for Scholars, Pam Vandiver, over here. Your students know her by now because... But Pam just does such a wonderful job leading our organization. She is committed to excellence. Every detail is taken care of. We are so honored and privileged to have her as our executive director. So thank you, Pam. Okay, so now we're at the end. Scholarship recipients, please stand. And if everybody else in the audience would also stand and join me in giving a well-deserved round of applause to our 2025 recipients.